Santa Fe trains always look great in motion or just standing still. The Chief pulls out of La Junta behind 4 units in the traditional ABBA lash-up. The Santa Fe always knew how to put on a good show. Here is E8, number 81 again, this time leaving Swink, Colorado, with the 6 cars that constituted train number 201. Amarillo had a beautiful mission-style station. Which is the setting for the arrival of westbound Santa Fe train number 3. It is a crew change point. An RSD-9 also goes to work to rearrange the train. A brakeman scans the locomotives and cars as they're switched. The train is broken apart. And the train is reassembled. Finally, it's almost dark, and the train is ready to continue on its way into the deepening nighttime. After Amtrak was launched in May 1971, some trains remained relatively unchanged for a brief period. The combined Super Chief and El Capitan are at Raton, New Mexico. Several cars in the train have Amtrak striping. The same train is seen climbing the western slope of scenic Raton Pass in New Mexico. Denver Union Station is a favorite location for train watchers. F units of the Denver and Rio Grande Western roll through the station and are then coupled to the point of the legendary California Zephyr. Shortly, we'll jump into the cab for a thrilling ride into the Rockies. Emory had obtained permission from the president of the Rio Grande for a cab ride on the Zephyr. The Missouri Pacific's Colorado Eagle, train number 4, ran on the Rio Grande to reach Denver. Emory is now in the cab of the Zephyr as the train makes its 8:35 a.m. departure from Denver. The train clears Utah Junction and heads for the Front Range of the Rockies just west of Denver. There are a whole series of short tunnels as the train climbs the Front Range out of Denver. This is mountain railroading. The railroad twists and turns as it gains elevation, passing through one tunnel after another. A freight train with GP30s is waiting on the siding at Crescent as the Zephyr continues its climb. We're near the top of the climb out of Denver, with just a few less curves in the track. Our train straightens out at East Portal for the dash into Moffat Tunnel, opened in 1928. The Zephyr is soon out of Moffett Tunnel at Winter Park and continuing westward. The original pre-Amtrak California Zephyr was operated by the Burlington, Rio Grande, and Western Pacific. When the train was launched in 1948, F3s, ordered by all three railroads, powered the train because they were geared higher than FTs. Later, the Burlington used E8s, and the Rio Grande and WP used F7s. Vista Dome cars, first used by the Rio Grande and Western Pacific on their Exposition Flyer in 1945, were the trademarks of the California Zephyr. 6 complete trains were built. The eastbound run took 49 hours and 30 minutes. The westbound took 51 hours. We're approaching Gore in Byers Canyon. There are only a few short tunnels west of Moffett. We meet another eastbound freight in the siding at Azure. A freight is also in the siding at Orestad, .Cerro spelled backwards. A branch to Craig leaves the main line here. Rifle, Colorado forms the background for westbound train number 17. The Grand Hogback and White River Plateau are in the background. Next, our train approaches Soldier Summit. The California Zephyr clears the signal cabin that marks Soldier Summit. A wintertime scene at Soldier Summit shows the Prospector, a noticeably shorter, non-dome Rio Grande train between Denver and Salt Lake City. We are now west of Salt Lake City on the Western Pacific. as the WP continues to roll the westbound California Zephyr through the Rockies. The long train enters a pair of tunnels on the Western Pacific. Emery is shooting from the dome car. And back in the cab again to enjoy the magnificent scenery. We're approaching Virgilia, the location of the high bridge over the Western Pacific Main Line in the spectacular Feather River Canyon. Back on the Rio Grande, this time on the Royal Gorge Line, Emery shoots the train in the deep defile from the suspension bridge. The Nolan tunnels provide a backdrop for the action any time of the day. The California Zephyr approaches Castlegate in Utah. The unmistakable profile of Castlegate towers over the Zephyr. Helper, Utah is a crew change point for the California Zephyr. The windshields get cleaned. And the train heads out of Helper with 5 units. Price, Utah is our next and last checkpoint with the Zephyr. The Prospector, the Rio Grande's other through train, leaves Provo, Utah, and passes the Union Pacific crossing. The train is soon spotted alongside U.S. Route 50, headed for Soldier Summit. The dual-gauge track at Alamosa, Colorado, is occupied by a special Rio Grande narrow-gauge train to Silverton, chartered by the Rocky Mountain Railroad Club. The special is soon underway. The train is up to track speed south of Alamosa. In the early 1950s, steam was still found on the shorter passenger trains of the Union Pacific. Fremont, Nebraska, as Union Pacific number 28, a mail train arrives about 1 hour late. With the station stop completed, the train starts to move out of town. Union Pacific train number 5 kicks up a cloud of dust at Gibbon, west of Omaha. Kearney, Nebraska, as UP train number 8, carrying mail and passengers, arrives on time.